Your San Francisco 49ers are now the second seed after a very tough win against the Las Vegas Raiders. It was just what this team needed after, constant, blowout wins and easy wins at that. And they proved that, hey, maybe they have an actual shot with Mr. Irrelevant to get to the Super Bowl. But more talk about that after this intro. Hey guys, Dawson Richard here once again for another 49ers video. Sorry for the weird schedule of videos. Holidays are a mess, alright. I tried to record last week with the Washington, but internet sucked. Now I'm back, Las Vegas Raiders, all that type of stuff. Anyway, sorry about that, but anyway. As I said, before the intro, right? I feel the 49ers, and most importantly, Brock Purdy and the defense, let's just say that, right? Needed this game, right? They needed a tough win, alright? Washington was tough for like a half, right? Let's see what happens with a 60-minute tough game. See how they could probably actually perform in a playoff element. And I think they did well enough this game, right? There were miscalculations on both sides, offensively and defensively and special teams. But in the end, the 49ers win because they figure out a way for, all three units to be great for just, the big moment, right? Defense stepped up when needed. Offense stepped up when needed. Special teams stepped up when needed. Even though I will say, during the last kick of overtime, without even taking a shot at the end zone is a bit weird, but we're gonna just not care about because it worked. All right, you only talk about a field goal that going for the field goal that early is if you're an Ohio State fan. But anyway, right? Let's get more into this offensively, right? So, I listened to a bunch of talk radio during the holidays, right? Also, Happy New Year's, everyone. But anyway, and the main point that was, one of the main points I heard, besides for all the San Francisco Giants talk, right, was, hey, who had the 49ers actually face that has been a tough game, right? Especially now with Brock Purdy in as quarterback, right? It hasn't really been that much of a list besides for Washington for basically like one half, right? And the Raiders, who have been stinking it up, I will not lie, lowest ranked defense. I think defense has cost them their games occasionally. Stepped up and gave Brock Purdy a hard time. Interesting tape on this game, I feel, right? With Brock Purdy, right, he threw an interception. It was basically for most of the time, right, when Shanahan calls the play that resulted in the interception, it's an instant touchdown, right? But the interception, the defense didn't actually bite on it this time. And it's George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the game versus his cornerback, right? And Brock Purdy, throws it to him, right? And some people, and even I will point to this, right? The reason why Brock Purdy, it was Mr. Irrelevant, were the physical attributes of the guy. And it showed with that ball, right? I feel like, if it was high, probably George Kittle comes down with it, but it was low, all that type of stuff. George Kittle I didn't really think George Kittle fought for it, right? 50-50 ball type stuff. And, with the arm and George Kittle not really fighting for it, it results in an interception. You see that again at the end of the game when you're desperate for a score, where Dron Jennings, Brock should have thrown it to the pylon but doesn't have the arm to do it. George Kittle throw, right? I think it probably was miscommunication as well on the second George Kittle throw. So yes, you saw this game, right? Why? In all honesty, unless something crazy happens in the playoffs, say the 6th Lombardi Trophy for the 49ers, there will be a quarterback competition next year. Because you think about it like this, right? Brock Purdy has. I'm going to go into this more in the offseason, but here's my basic take on this with Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, right? Brock Purdy was always going to have the higher, floor than Trey Lance. For the simple simple view of this is a 4-year starter in college versus a 1-year starter in college with limited snaps, right? If Brock Purdy didn't look better than Trey Lance, more, poise, all that type of stuff, then I would be surprised, right? But he showed why, hey, I was a 4-year starter in college, and this is why, right? With his smarts and all that, right? Trey Lance, 1-year starter in North Dakota, and just, he needs the snaps to be a better quarterback because he surely has the physicals to make every throw on the field. It's just a snap issue, right? But anyway, that rant's over. We'll talk about it more in the offseason, right? I'm just, showing why in this game you actually saw what is the reason behind, hey, there's probably still going to be some quarterback conversation and talk just from, arm talent and physicals. And if Brock Purdy wins out, he wins out, all right? Even if he is the, lower ceiling type of quarterback, right? Because surely this game showed why the weapons of the 49ers matters, right? Christian McCaffrey probably saved the season a bit today. George Kittle's and Brandon Ayuk and Juwan Jennings saved the season, type plays. Also, Ray and Danny Gray being used like Deebo Samuel. Let's see more of that, alright, guys, right? I think if you're going to limit the snap count of Deebo Samuel, because honestly, I think, as important as Deebo Samuel is to this offense, right? You can't just have him taking multiple snaps, right? And another point, right, with Christian McCaffrey, right? You have a guy who basically is a bell cow with an injury history. I understand it, right? Injuries are a thing in sports. You just get over it, right? But here's the thing about it, right? You have fresh legs, all that type of stuff. Jordan Mason, Ty Davis-Price, right? Nice runs from both of them, I will say. Jordan Mason had himself his first touchdown. Good job, Jordan Mason. Ty Davis-Price had his most patient run. It was very interesting to see Ty Davis-Price in this game, right? I always feel like when you actually, try and make a death count, for, the running back room, it's, CMC, Jordan Mason, Ty Davis, but, Ty Davis was the first one shown and all that type of stuff. Sorry for the rambling. This Coca-Cola has a lot of caffeine in it. Plus, what makes the show going, alright? So we gotta go with the rambles. And plus, it makes the video longer. And I think I get my most thoughts out when I ramble. But anyway, right? Defensively, probably one of their worst games ever. I'll say that, right? One of their worst games ever. When D'Amico Ryans is going for his head coaching interviews, this game will probably be talked about a lot. Especially if it's an AFC team that wants to hire him, right? Especially if, say, it's the Denver job, right? Be like, hey, the Raiders, you're probably going to see, McDaniel and Stidham next year again. And they just torched you. They cooked you, right? And what happened, right? It was very much a game in which I was very confused on how Devontae Adams was covered, right? I feel like you paid Charvarius Ward to lock these, the Devontae Adams of the world down, but you trusted Diamador Lenore to do it, and you don't just have it, Charvarius shadow the guy, right? Very weird stuff there, right? Talanoa Funga probably had one of his worst games The thing with Talanoa Hufanga is he runs on instincts, right? He runs on what he sees and does, and he bites on stuff a lot. And, it happens that he will get beat a few times by Darren Waller and these types of guys. And, and occasionally, he fixes it, right? He didn't bite on the Darren Waller thing, or I think he did, and then just, cover him, and they didn't score a touchdown on that drive. But then, also, who had a bad game? Fred Warner. That was a very bad game from Fred Warner. Face mask that led to a touchdown. Very bad stuff from basically from, a debatable aspect of who is the best linebacker in the game. Fred Warner has more good games this year, but very bad game when you're trying to fight for the second seed here against Las Vegas Raiders, a team that, in theory, you should be better than, right? Maybe having less tape on Jarrett Stidham was the problem. But you still know the offense. The offense has been on tape. And you let Josh Jacobs and Jarrett Stidham, Darren Waller, cook you. So, yes. But here's the thing about it. I talked about how the defense had a bad game. This game was what they were needed in the end, alright? If you want to play playoff football, it's not going to look pretty. It isn't going to be blowouts every single day, right? And this game, proved there, it was a bit of a taste of a playoff game. And it's going to be interesting to see if the 49ers readjust and figure stuff out, because if they can't, right, you put, like, this is the tape that the 49ers did not want to put on before playoff time, right? Teams are going to look at the Raiders, game plan and be like, can we replicate this, right? And the job of Kyle Shanahan, which she's pretty good at, is to keep his offense going, right? In theory, the offense did their job today, right? It's the defense, So, let's see what happens with DeMeco Ryans, right? Guy wants to be a future head coach. Show me that you can make the adjustments, that you don't get burnt like this all the time, right? You did after the Kansas City game. Prove it to me without this Raider game. Can you play good defense again? But overall, let's talk some more stuff here, right? I said the 49ers are now the second seed, right? They have a chance at the 1 seed if Philadelphia loses to the Giants, right? I think that's the game, right? And who knows what the Giants will do this game, right? They basically locked down a seed. Do they want to try and play spoiler a bit, right? Because if you remember, right, back in the 2020 season, the Giants needed Philadelphia to win, I think. I think that was the thing, right? I think it was either win or lose. I forget what it was. Well, no, it was winning. And, they put in Nate Sudfeld in a way and basically didn't care about the game, right? Costing the Giants a spot. And, some of the players on the Giants team were on this current Giants team, were on that team that basically got screwed by Philadelphia for a playoff spot. So, in theory, you may want to rest your starters. But, hey, maybe play spoiler, play revenge, right? And here's the thing about it. The 49ers are going to play everybody just because, hey, you don't know what's going to happen with New York and Philadelphia. So, hey, maybe if you win, you get the first seed. And that means you stay on the West Coast. And, oh, my God, the video just freaking did that. But anyway. As I said before, 49ers are going to play their starters because Brock Purdy needs more, cohesion with his, offense. Deebo Samuel needs to get back into a little bit of game shape before the playoffs. You're going to play your starters for probably at least a half, maybe. But, your 49ers need... If the 49ers get the 1 seed, you know what that means, guys, right? If the 49ers get the 1 seed, they stay on the West Coast for the rest of the season, no matter what happens, right? They are going to host, a playoff game, and, if they, go all the way, the NFC Championship game. So, you desperately want to clinch the see if you can clinch the NFC, so you're gonna play the starters. But do you want the 1 seed? I forget who you play if it's the 1 seed, because anyway, but it's an interesting game, interesting topic of, hey, what happens now? Do we just hope that the Giants? Do we just play our starter and try and win this game in case the Giants and Philadelphia decide to play their starters and all that type of stuff? Which is the very interesting topic. Is going to be a discussion for the week as injury reports come out and these coaches talk, right? Let's see what they, think about it, if that makes sense, right? What their thought process is going into this game, right? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I did. Very much know I did. I always love talking football. And that's New Year's start, so I want to say thank you. Reached the 200 subscribers. You already know that. Great year all around. All you guys helped out. And if you're fully through this video, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment if you're not already done any of those. And see you guys next time for more content. I forgot about LSU's SEC play. That's very important. Content on my channel. Basketball is maybe some Giants talk. Who knows? Really, the SF Giants, not the New York ones. And LSU baseball. Probably the preseason #1 team with Dylan Cruz, the potential #1 pick in that draft. MLB draft on the team. So yeah, gonna be a very interesting few months. Also, tomorrow is LSU's Citrus Bowl. Video gonna come out for that. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.